Hello, my name is Chase.
And my name is Blakeston.
Welcome to the Well Thawed Out podcast, where we do our best to have opinions that are
Well thought out.
The sun is 150 degrees. Let's get popping.
It's hot as fuck in here.
That was it.
It was way more crazy.
Well, you guys didn't see, but when I tried to close the door with the microphone cords running through, the handle fell off.
Yeah, the new developments from last time is we now have Desi here doing doing the technical work behind the scenes. As you can see, we now have these fancy mics.
Desi's our sound technician, so hopefully we don't have to send the audio off to get mastered. It just sounds good. That would be nice. That would save us about 3 days of waiting for.
And we got the cords running through the door, so Chase had to pull really hard on the handle, and now look at what she's done.
I've been working out.
And if you can't see, he broke the handle.
I broke the handle off of the sauna door. So
add the sauna.
Add that to the list of things that we have to fix between now and next time.
Yeah, betwixt now and next time, if you will.
Betwixt. For those of you who are new, let me set the tone here first and foremost. My name is Chase,
Higgins.
and I am here
Chase Higgins is his last name. Go ahead.
My name is Chase. I am here with my business partner, associate, friend,
BFF, if you will.
BFF, heterosexual life partner, and fellow village idiot,
And
Blakeston.
Yep, that's me. My name is that.
And we are sitting in a sauna that is 148 degrees right now. We've been in about 5 minutes. I just put the timer back up on our sauna settings up to the hour where we should have put it when we first got in here, but we did it. Blakeston asked me a very valuable question about an hour ago. He said, "Hey, well, I was peeing and I yelled at Blakeston, but then he interrupted me to ask me, what are we going to talk about in the podcast?"
That's not exact. That's kind of what happened. Chase was saying, "Blakeston, we need to figure out," and then I interrupted him as he was saying it, what we're going to talk about in the podcast, because we complete each other's sentences.
He completes me as a man. He completes inside of me, and I am thankful for his friendship.
Oh, yeah.
So I told him, see, Blakeston, Blakeston is interested in talking about anything and everything that we find appealing and that we could have in-depth conversations about.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the hard-hitting topics. I prefer the let's fucking get into it. We're here in the sauna uncomfortably. We might as well get TF the fuck into it.
Okay.
But I think you're right. I think a healthy little balance of, but I think all within one episode.
Yeah.
We can get the fuck into it, but
All
then
right,
we can
fine.
also
I
talk
have an
about,
idea.
yeah, what's up?
All right. I was thinking about yesterday, just happiness in general.
Happiness.
Because if you think about it, I think everyone, that is the goal of life, is trying to be happy. I think everyone does pretty much everything they do exclusively to be happy.
And I'm not going to lie, I think people don't realize that, though.
Yeah, exactly. They people go to the gym, to get in better shape, whatever, because that makes them happy. People, even like bad things, people eat unhealthy food because they feel happy in that moment or whatever it is. I think literally everything we do is to. Yesterday, you, Chase, Steven and Kyle went to go get food before the gym. I thought, well, if I go to the gym and then eat after, I think I'll be happier. I'll feel better in the gym, and I won't feel bloated, and I did that to increase the overall happiness afterwards, not because I didn't want to. I just weighed out the options, and I think that is,
And I for sure know what bloated means and feels like.
Chase does this thing where he says he doesn't know what bloated is, and I don't know how to explain it to him.
No one has ever been able to describe the difference to me where it makes sense to me, the difference between full and bloated. I literally don't know. So leave a comment, like, subscribe, click the bell if you know what bloated means.
And tell your friends that Chase doesn't know it. He's a medical anomaly. He's the only person I've ever met that doesn't know what bloated is. So
I think he's
purposely not knowing what it is.
I swear to God, I'm not. I wouldn't lie to you. You're my friend. I don't know the difference. What is bloated compared to, you're full. You ate too much and you're full.
There's a different feeling. I don't know how to.
So then I've never felt it because I've only ever felt full.
There might be a slight nuance that you don't understand. There's a difference between, you don't know that you haven't felt it. You just might not know that you felt it.
You're telling me that I'm not very
smart.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I'm not very
Have you ever had like a massive like protein drink right before the gym and you feel like lethargic at the gym?
Yeah, because from being full, yeah.
Yep, that lethargic feeling is bloated.
But I also feel lethargic when I'm very full. Is he telling us farther?
He was telling me. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, keep it in front of you. That's the whole point. It should be glued.
Okay.
Come on, look at me.
No, but you're doing a whole thing with the cord. I was trying to not do that, mother effer.
Yeah, we're doing it. All right, for those of you who can't, let me set the setting. We've been going at it for about. Did you put this back up? Shit, so we don't even know our time yet.
We've barely been in here, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. I think we've been in here about 5 minutes.
You want to know something crazy? I was just thinking about this. So it's 100.
Well, hold on.
What's up?
Don't hurt yourself if you were thinking about it.
It was painful, and so the sauna's at 149, which is not crazy hot. Saunas usually get up to like, if it's not an infrared sauna, 180, 190. You know, that boy Joe Rogan will go 210 or whatever. You know,
which doesn't make sense because boiling is 212.
Yeah, boiling water. You know, water. I mean, you think 60-degree water is very freezing cold, whereas 60-degree air is different. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
I don't think it's different. I think it has to do with the thermal conductivity of the medium.
Feels different.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
That is what different is. Yeah, sorry for saying that. If it feels different, that's what different is.
We can both be right.
Yeah. Thermodynamically speaking, they're the same temperature, but yeah.
All right.
As you were?
As I was. So I was thinking about it, and so 149, it feels pretty hot. Like, it's already to where I'm like, yeah, it's kind of warm in here. I was watching this show on Netflix about people doing, Idris Elba narrates for it, and then people doing crazy.
I already like it.
His
voice
so
is incredible.
Soothing, yeah. But people do crazy sports, and like, it's just about the craziest sports in the world or craziest events in the world. And one of them was a 6-day marathon where they run a marathon every day.
An ultra marathon.
Yeah, but it's the longest and craziest one in the world, and it's so it's 150.
That's like the Tour de France, but running.
Yep, it's like 156 miles. I could be wrong on that number. Quick maths.
Is absurd.
And
they run a marathon every day for 6 days.
Yep, in the desert, literal desert. They are. It is
like on sand dunes.
Yeah. Yes, on sand dunes. What'd you say?
Sand dunes.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
I've noticed 100% of the time when you say we're saying the same thing, we absolutely are not. It sounded like you said Sam dunes.
So they run a marathon. Anyway, so back before I get too caught off because I'm too stupid to follow my own story that I'm telling. They the temperature gets up to like 130, 135 degrees while they're in the dead heat for 26 miles a day. And you know how you know that it's crazy hard? People die. People literally die.
During the event?
Yes.
Why wouldn't they just stop?
A cardiac arrest.
Oh, I'm assuming there's not support with them the entire way.
Yes, there is.
The whole way they're there.
Yes.
How would they die?
They had cardiac arrest, and you can stop running. If you're having a cardiac arrest, you're having a cardiac arrest. They
were arrested out in the desert.
Yeah, by cardiac surgeons. It was crazy. You would think it's cops. No, but so they have camels that follow them. They have two people that walk with camels.
Oh my God, the camels are out there in their element.
And
the camels are like, this is it? Come on.
And if the camels catch up to you, you're disqualified. So, like, obviously, they aren't running 26 miles for a time. They're just going the 26 miles in one day.
Yeah.
And then you're disqualified if the camels catch up to you. So, obviously, there's a pace that needs to be kept. So, you can go fast and then chill for an hour.
Do you remember what this is called?
It's something. It's literally a documentary where they show a different sport every episode. And this was one of the episodes. But my whole point was, it's 148 degrees in here. We're sitting, being very. I could go chill on my couch right now, and this is already inconvenient for me. Imagine 6 days of 26 miles a day and just pushing yourself. Yeah.
Running in the desert.
And the woman they were like doing the whole thing on, she had some medical thing in the past where I think she was in an accident and almost lost limbs and whatnot. And she was doing it to prove it to herself. And she collapsed and was cramping all over her body. And it was so painful for her. She was telling these people to push and get the cramps out, and she was screaming. It was scary to watch.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then she watched the camels walk by, and she felt defeated, but she did something that I would never do. And
you don't see me signing up for that event.
I don't see you signing anything because you don't know how to write.
He's always got to bring my literacy into things.
Literally.
You bring that up any chance you get.
Yeah, it's because I don't either, and it makes me feel better to make fun of someone else.
Well, that's absolutely bonkers that people put themselves through that. But I think you're right. Back to the point.
I think Desi farted. We're here with Desi. He's, like we said, he's our master. He's our master.
He is our
guy.
He's a sound technician, our master sound technician, and business partner at this point on this little venture.
Electronic guy, and it looks like he's doing some funny business back there behind the scenes. we'll have to get a camera on him for the future, and then see what happens.
There's nobody else I'd rather be working with than these two idiots right here. We got Blakeston on my left and Tweedledum on my right, Desi. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
Back to your point though, Blakeston, I think you have a good point. I have thought about this before. So some people, if you are religious, you might have a different purpose for your life that you think. But I think even then, if your like purpose is to serve God or to live your life a certain way, whatever that may be for your religion, even that is in an attempt for eternal glory and salvation and happiness.
Well, and just to branch off that, the whole point of you hear I think one of the most common questions in the world is like, why are we here? What's our purpose? Or even from an individual standpoint, what's my purpose as a human? A lot of people are looking for that or trying to figure that out, and it is to be happy. They're not trying to find a purpose for any other reason other than they want that to be fulfilling and they want to be happy. Yeah. So we talk about. I remember when I started working with you and Desi for the moving company. I thought people would ask how I like just moving furniture. They would literally be talking down to me like, "Oh, you're moving furniture? Like that sounds shitty or whatever." I'm like, yeah, but I get to work with my close friends every day. Like I get to go to work and have fun. I get to have a say in a small business. I get to all these things that you might make more money than me working at a massive company, but are you happy every day? Are you enjoying your time? And that's something that I enjoy and I wanted to, push towards because it's enjoyable. So
that is the sole reason we have lasted as long as we have. I mean, even running a small business, when we first started, Steven, Kyle, Desi, and I, when we first started, it's not enjoyable. We're out there. Not only do we have the well-being of the company and the individuals working for the company on our back and, have to make the right choices to help these men with their livelihoods, things like that. We also are out there literally moving furniture, driving trucks, interacting with customers, breaking our backs, sweating. And it's both of those things. And if it wasn't for the fact that we got to work with our friends every single day, we would not have made it. 100% guaranteed. We go to work and it's a hangout session. Yep. We're literally dicking around constantly, dragging customers into our shenanigans. We're able to be ourselves because we're hanging out with our actual friends. These are not our work friends. These are our actual best friends, which brings us in. We are in our element, which is messing around, and people feel that vibe.
Which is a testament to who we are, because it's not that when you say it's not enjoyable, it's not that we don't have fun. We have fun literally every day. It is moving furniture inherently is not enjoyable. Working manual labor is not enjoyable. We make it enjoyable because, which is what I tell people all the time, we find a way to make anything fun.
It is that perspective. It is, you can look at it as, oh, well, I'm doing this, I'm not having fun, blah, blah. Well, you could say that about anything. Yep. Or you can say, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to do what I can to enjoy my moments. I'm going to enjoy my experience. And this goes back to the thing I talk about a lot. I spend a lot of time talking about work balance, work-life balance being absolute total bullshit. It's like a fucking, I'm telling you right now, that idea of having work-life balance is perpetuated by corporate America. This is a thought. This is just a theory that I have that I've developed.
I have a devil's advocate to what you're saying.
Perpetuated by corporate America to get people to sacrifice part of their time when none of your time should be a sacrifice. Yeah. You should work. I mean, maybe for a very, very short amount of time, you should be able to, the goal should be able to spend 100% of your moments doing what you want to do. Now, whether that means actually changing your circumstance, that's perfect. What a huge part of that is it just changing your perspective of, like you said, making the moments that you have enjoyable by, by enjoying them.
I think to counter that, because obviously I agree with what you're saying, but I think that could be, you could be right, and someone talking about having a good work-life balance can be right. I think that generally when people are referring to work-life balance, they aren't necessarily meaning you have to work and do this thing that you don't enjoy, and then you have to find things you enjoy also. But it could just mean that you're making sure you're portioning out your time to all the things. If I focused 100% of my time for work, even if I enjoyed all of that time, I wouldn't have the time to do other things I enjoy as well. It might not necessarily just mean they're two separate entities, but that you are
think about what we
portioning out your time.
Think about the life that we've created for ourselves. To start working, we just start recording.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So to say that, I mean, that's cool, but we've set it up for ourselves that we could work, quote unquote, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
We could bring in an income 100% of the time and be happy.
Right.
Or do whatever we want. Or
But that, for me, that isn't what would make me happy. What would make me happy is doing things I enjoy for work, of course, but also having a balance of that and other things that aren't work at all that I also enjoy, like rugby, like going to the gym, things things of that nature. I think it's just a word thing. I think it's semantics. I think that we're both right. It's just, one, you might look at it slightly different from me, or two, it could just be two different things. But like the perfect example, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier about just finding a way to enjoy work. I worked with Tristan, a buddy of ours that we play rugby with. He works for me, and we had a day where we were moving furniture literally for 10 hours. We didn't get done till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And he told me at the end of the day, which you would think, man, this was a long day. This sucks. I didn't get to go see my girlfriend. I didn't get to go, or whatever he might say, because, his girlfriend was calling throughout the day. But instead, at the end of the day, he said, this was the most fun day I've had at work. And he was like, we really had fun. And it was because he was working with me, and instead of just people that are there to just earn a buck, we just had fun the whole day. Went, got lunch. I bought his lunch. We were having fun, just goofing off. So
it's that positivity that's contagious. It literally no matter what the attitude is, good or bad.
Yep.
If you have a powerful personality individual, it infects the entire crew. It infects whoever you're working with. So if it's good, it's good. If one person is negative, it's a poison that spreads throughout that crew and throughout that company.
And that is where I come back to the work-life balance. For me, I agree that there's a good work-life balance. I enjoyed all of the moments. I got to set up there were so many good things that came from that day. Yeah, I worked for 12 hours, but I set up a thing with a new company that we might get a contract through. I got to work with a guy that I'm close with and get closer with him. We made money. We both got tipped almost $200 each. All these good positives. But I still got home and I felt exhausted, and I didn't get to go to the gym. I didn't eat the way I wanted to that day. There's negatives within that. They were worth the sacrifice, but there's a balance that I would have rathered have of being able to go to the gym, getting off at a decent time, being able to communicate with you and Desi a little more about some thoughts I have on the podcast. There's other things that I didn't get to do because it was all work that day. So there's a balance of, and that's what I mean by work-life balance, is being able to do other things that might not have to do with work, but not because I don't enjoy work, but because those things I also enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a matter of semantics, and we both mean similar things, but also slightly different.
Back to being happy, and this is the most, I think, to me, this is the most important distinguishing feature is you can be happy like anybody can be happy. You could go and abuse drugs right now and feel incredibly happy.
Yeah.
You could go whatever that ends up looking like, or go get drunk and be incredibly happy.
In that moment.
Or go eat unhealthy and be like, yeah, it's fucking good, and be happy. But what we're talking about is long-term sustainable happiness. And from what I've noticed, what that requires, it's not like, oh, this will help you. What that requires is short-term sacrifice. What that requires is short-term being slightly uncomfortable because it will lead to long-term sustainable happiness. So for example, going to the gym is the most apparent example, or a healthy diet.
For most people, we Chase and I are relatively anomalies because we enjoy the struggle at the gym. But yeah,
well, we've grown to enjoy that.
That's true.
You don't enjoy it when you're running a mile on the treadmill. Guaranteed, you're not enjoying it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the same thing. You are literally no pain, no gain. That's sort of cliche saying no pain, no gain. You are literally uncomfortable for that short amount of time because you know it's the hard thing, because you know it's the right thing. Yeah. But you get into the habit, you get into the lifestyle, you create the lifestyle for yourself of continually leaning into that uncomfortability because you know it leads to longer term sustainable happiness. Yep. So it's not like you enjoy that moment. It's not like I enjoy eating a fucking salad every day. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to eat whatever I want.
But almost immediately afterwards, you're happy.
Yeah. And then the vice versa. If you eat like shit almost immediately after, you're like, fuck, I should not have
talk
eaten
about
like that.
The cookies I ate last night. This dude, we had cookies at the house, and my roommates, Izzy and Jamie might have had a cookie, and I don't think you had any.
I had none.
Next thing you know, there is
let the record show I had none.
Chase. But warmed up 2 cookies for me, got me a glass of milk, did the whole 9.
I did the whole 9 for him to make it easy for him to be a fat boy.
Throughout the night, because I fell asleep on the couch watching some TV, and then naturally I stayed on the couch like the good boy I am, and I finished off the thing of cookies. I ate, I think, 8 cookies.
There was probably a dozen in there. I think there were 2 empty.
Yeah.
And then so
I have, with that said, the reason I was okay with doing that, which obviously it's a give and a take of all sorts of different things in life. I have been eating very strict. I've been limiting my calories and working out very hard throughout this rugby season. And my goal was to get in better shape than I've ever been. And I've almost pretty much achieved that goal. My weight is better than it's ever been. And I kind of did a little celebratory.
And that's the thing, you guys. That's the thing. The cookies for Blakeston were celebratory. That's the thing. It is literally no one is going to win 100% of your battles, but when you are doing the right things, it is. Think about it's about making the right choices more often than not over the course of a period of time, like think roughly a year. Did you make the right choice 85 out of 100 times? You're good to go. Did you have cookies one night? Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Letting that over, like a lot of people with diet, I know the biggest thing.
One tiny defeat, it gets overwhelming for them.
Ruins it for them. Whereas I like ate those. I didn't feel too great afterwards. I wasn't like happy with myself. I woke up this morning. That's okay. It's a new day.
And that's the thing though. When I get really into being strict about my diet, which I have been lately, I get to the point where I never dread having a cheat day. I'm like, fuck yeah, I am able to actually thoroughly enjoy a cheat day because I'm like, yeah, I've had nothing but salads, vegetables, and damn protein and meat this whole week. And, I've worked out hard 5 out of the 7 days, and the other 2 days were decent workouts. And then, on Sunday, I'm going to have donuts, and I'm going to make a Trace Chase cake this Sunday for anybody listening.
Anyone that wants to have some, I'm going to avoid that.
I think Desi's writing us notes. Or he's coloring pictures. But yeah, so back to it. It's all these little sacrifices. Like Blakeston sacrificed some of his time and some of his desires and reaching some of his goals that day for work. If it wasn't worth it, he would have left, literally leave. And it was, I'm making the sacrifice. I'm not doing everything I want to do, but you make a little sacrifice.
Which I have more invested than the average person.
100%.
Short of you and the other owners of the company, I have the most invested in the company when it comes to the success and what it means to me. So obviously it makes the most sense for me to do that, and put myself out there and do that.
And not only that, but it's all these things. It's all these little choices that will hopefully eventually lead you to long-term sustainable happiness and lead us. This is not a prescription for anybody. We don't know anything. All we're doing is describing what has worked for us and what we have found the most benefit in.
The nutrition part, it was interesting to me. I just want to know, or I want to talk a little more about nutrition because that's something that is vastly thought upon by different people in way different ways. So how do you eat the way that you eat, and what do you do personally? Because you were talking about your cheat days and things like that. Why do you eat the way that you do? And
I have found the most amount of benefit with a few simple rules. I've noticed if it's too complicated or you're trying to track macros or trying to count calories, it gets hard, and it's such a time consuming and emotionally consuming thing that it's almost unsustainable as a lifestyle. Whereas
depending on your goals and who
you are, of course, for the average bear, I'm telling you guys, for the average bear who wants to be healthy, they want to feel good, and they want to look good, that means being 75% strict on your diet and going to the gym 4 times a week and having good workouts 4 times a week and having an active lifestyle the other 3 days. Yes. That's all that means. Now, if you want world-class results, you have to put in that world-class effort. You want that top 1%. You want to be in the top 1% of how you look and feel. That's wonderful. You can absolutely do that. You have to be willing to put in that top 1% of effort.
Yep.
So having understanding that your lifestyle needs to line up with your goals, that's perfect. So for me, I want to, like I described, be in that top 1%. I want to look like $1 million. I want to feel like $1 million. My overall goal is to be an independent, mobile old man. I want to never have to be able to count on anybody. I want to be able to live by myself. I want to have which obviously some of these things are out of my control, but I want to have a brain that works until I die.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, move around on my own accord and things like that. So my lifestyle, I do what I can to have my lifestyle reach that. I skip desserts. I skip bread. I skip pasta, noodles, rice, about 90% of the time, 95% of the time. I skip vegetables about 70% of the time. I said vegetables. I meant to say fruit. I skip fruit about 70% of the time. And I would say about 90% of my diet is meat, vegetables, and protein shakes. And eggs. And I mean, it's not in salads and raw veggies. I try to make sure over half of my veggies are raw veggies. And I just have found that that's what's sustainable for me. At this point, it's not even hard. I've gotten so used to making that choice over and over and over again. I've literally made it. One time I made it for 6 months.
Well,
without cheating.
and you know what the reward is.
Yeah.
You have reaped the benefits for when it comes to your fitness. You have arguably probably the best fitness on our rugby team, which, I mean, keep in mind, that's not just a group of random people. That's people that play an intense sport. To have the best fitness on the team is pretty crazy. And then also the looks of it. People comment all the time. You understand that you look in exceptionally good shape, and that's because of the effort that you put in for years on end. You know, without fail, whether you have a cheat day here or there, you're constantly doing the same things.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I do look forward to those cheat days. I've gone a long time, but when I realized pretty much exactly what I said to Blakeston a few minutes ago, it's not about winning 100% of your battles. Nobody will do that. And I mean, even if you do, how happy is that making you? Is that actually worth it?
Yeah.
Whereas you're not going to have any perceivable visual notice or feeling notice if you have a cheat day periodically. If you have a cheat, and that's something that I look forward to. It helps.
And it doesn't, cheat day, take that with a grain of salt. It doesn't need to be, like my cheat day was yesterday having some cookies. Like it doesn't, when people say cheat day, they think like,
unless you're Stephen Lomas.
Yeah.
Unless you're Stephen Lomas. I mean, cheat day can be anything. And for
cheat day can be cheat month, year.
and for me, a cheat day is literally going to look like I'm going to wake up, I'm going to have some donuts, I'm going to make a tres leches cake on Saturday so I can enjoy it on Sunday. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to have no restrictions on myself and what I eat. And from what I've noticed, if I do that, and depending on how hard I go, if it just works out to where I barely get any cheats, I'll have another one next week. If I ball out and do everything I want to do, I'll go a month without having one.
I think so. Just to touch on from a personal level, because Chase and I have different goals, fitness wise, and well, we're coming from different ends of the spectrum. Chase definitely eats a little cleaner than me, but I would argue that I eat pretty damn healthy most of the time. I, cheat here and there. I definitely have a little more cheat meals and just a little more cheat guys, a piece of toast here with breakfast or whatever. But we both work very hard. I know in the gym we have similar work ethic. At rugby we have similar work ethic, and we eat similar. But we come from different ends of the spectrum. Chase is trying to put weight on. He's very lean. He's trying to put weight on, whereas I want to get leaner, which is something I've been accomplishing. But with that said, that comes with different ends of the kind of what we need to be doing nutritionally. And I think you having some cheat days is going to be beneficial for you, or even incorporating a little more. I've said this countless times, one, being consistent with what you eat, but a little more carbs throughout your weeks, especially in this off season. We're in off season of rugby right now, and I think that we can achieve some crazy goals if we both hold each other accountable, which is definitely a part of it.
I tend to let my diet follow my exercises. If I have really good workouts, I've noticed I'll do more to be on top of my diet. Whereas if my workouts have been shit, which they have been lately, my energy levels haven't been there, my focus hasn't been there, but I still am going to the gym every single day and doing something. But I will be stricter on my diet when my workouts aren't as good. And if I have very good workouts, I'll eat more. I'll let myself eat more. I'll let myself have a few more snacks, whatever that may be. And I've noticed that the discipline that I've established in my diet habits follows the trend of whatever my workouts are.
And I've noticed, so I didn't even think about this. Throughout the season, Chase, this is the first time and first season, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have incorporated a little bit of carb loading prior
so I
to
started,
games.
carb loading prior to games.
Which is something I've been telling them to do for years.
I started, and I was getting, Saturday would roll up, I would do everything I needed to all week, and all off season and all season continue.
That means eating clean as hell too.
Yeah, so I'm talking everything: good exercise, good workouts, good diet, all rugby season, all off season, and come Saturday, I would feel so exhausted 10 minutes into the game. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude! It doesn't matter how much work I do.
Which, just to say, you're feeling exhausted 10 minutes into the game, you still would outwork pretty much everyone on the team. But from his personal perspective,
from how I wanted to feel,
from how hard you work,
from how I felt like I deserved to feel for all the hard work. So I would, how I felt like I deserved to feel like excuse me.
Nice push.
Blakeston told me start incorporating some carbs the night before, the morning of, and I'm telling you guys, literally night and day. Literally night and day.
I obviously am his best friend, so any advice that I give, I hope he listens to. But I have a degree in fitness and wellness, and I'm a certified personal trainer, so I have a little bit of.
To be honest, you have been incredibly helpful.
Just to barge in, our man Desi outside behind the scenes told us that we were about 30 minutes deep into this mug and did a drawing.
It looked like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, it's
a dick
that's
shooting an
a penis with balls shooting an M16.
And there's a dead dick on the ground.
Incredibly, save
very
that.
good.
That is outstanding.
Save that shit, Desi.
I'll
put it up on the screen in the edit.
Yep, there we go.
He's incredibly
That's
talented.
outstanding. I'm gonna do a little adjust, guy. Let me know if this looks all right, Desi, from our guy behind the scenes.
Who can see the camera?
I'm gonna go back here. Okay.
All right. Back to what I was saying. So I started incorporating carbs the night before and the morning of, and not only was that a little reward for how strict I had been eating, it made me feel a million times better going into a rugby game. I would get out of breath, and rather than staying like, fuck, dude, I'm done. I feel like I've played 80 minutes already, which for those of you who don't know, rugby is 2 40-minute halves, so we say 80 minutes, that's a full game. I feel like I played 80 minutes already. Instead of that, after I had, done a little carb load the night before and the morning of, I would get out of breath. 30 seconds later, I would literally feel 100%.
I noticed
I don't know if
this
that's the
year too.
glycogen reserves or however it works. I was like, oh, I am recovered now.
So that's exactly what it is. Which obviously I'm not obviously I'm not an expert on the subject. But I have done a fair share of research. I played college soccer, so this is something that endurance was even more important in some aspects because you're running 90 minutes and I would play full games. So but I looked into what I needed to be doing because my cardio is always terrible compared to other collegiate athletes. Soccer players are skinny and I'm big and bulky. And once I started kind of toying with that a little bit, obviously I didn't do like a legitimate science experiment, but messing with the carb intake the day before and
just
the day
playing
of,
with the variables.
Yeah, and from my limited perspective, it was a massive difference. And then this year, I felt the same as Chase, whereas obviously my cardio, I worked harder this year than I ever have.
In the off season,
yeah, and throughout the season, but I felt incredible. Where I would go in. I don't know if you guys understand physical altercation and the physicality of rugby, but going into a tackle, going into a ruck, which is just as physical as a tackle, all those things are incredibly exhausting. It is to run is one thing. To sprint and hit someone as hard as you can, and then have grown men on top of you, try to fight your way out of that. It is exhausting.
It's very hard.
And Chase and I are both known for going in and getting 2-3 tackles back to back, or working very hard over running past people on our team to be in a better position. So I noticed that I regained my stamina much, much faster because of the dietary needs that we are kind of throwing out there and doing for ourselves. Which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it feels much better.
Which is crazy, and that just goes to show how much we are learning and how much we don't know. Chase was in the best shape out of anyone on the team for years and years, and then does something that goes to show you could be the best in a group of people, but that you could still be 1% better. You could still work harder. You could still do other things, and that is that. So he did that, and then now was able to work even harder than those other people, which is why I voted for Chase Higgins as the forward of the year, the MVP of the year, and the best looking man on our player feedback.
Not the MVP. That's Greg Fry. That's Mr. Greg Fry.
If you look, I love Greg. Greg, I hope you're watching this. He ran very hard and he scored a lot of tries. On defense, I think that you get overlooked for all the intensity you bring. And
Greg just noticed. We were out to dinner the other night, and Greg, who is arguably
one of the best players,
the best player on the team, he was like, Chase, I was watching footage for the first time. You made like 3 tackles in a row. I was like, yeah.
Why couldn't he have
that's
watched...
me, Blakeston, and Steven every game.
I wish he could have watched the footage a couple games back when I was a flanker. But anyway, he's overlooked as just, it's easy to pick the guy scoring tries. Like the game in Denver when I got my first man of the match, I scored, I ran really hard. But the defensive work gets overlooked, which is why I didn't start a lot of games because they didn't pay attention to that. Yeah. But Chase is holding it down.
Blakeston's a defensive madman.
Yeah, you, me, and Steven in there, that would. And you guys know Steven. He's the curly-headed Joe Dirt looking guy.
Dump truck mullet daddy.
Dump truck zaddy,
he's an
if
absolute
you will.
beast, and he's really turned it on this season regarding defense, and it was kind of a joke. I was like, dog, a freaking dog with us. Why are you not out there acting like it? And he was like, oh yeah, and just started making way more tackles.
He was doing this thing where he was conserving energy to be in a better position to run the ball, which is what a lot of guys do.
Which makes sense for him. Steven is a very good ball runner.
Yes, but he's one of the most intense and best defensive players we have. So
now,
anyway, yes,
now,
yeah. Even before he was good, but now it's even better. But yeah, I mean that's enough rugby talk. If you want to hear us talk about rugby, we can do that on a whole separate thing.
And I'm not gonna lie, this is probably number one, Blakeston. So I'm glad I don't know if you thought of this ahead of time or thought of this on a whim.
I probably did, as long as it's a good thing. I probably did.
Yeah, the being happy, man, and having a little bit of perspective of why am I doing what I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Other than to be happy.
Desi, sorry, go ahead.
If you're not making choices that are hopefully in your best intentions and in your heart of hearts leading you to long-term sustainable happiness,
yes,
reevaluate. Please just reevaluate. And what it takes an incredible amount of emotional effort to be mindful, to constantly be mindful of why am I doing what I'm doing is very hard. As a person, as a reflective, wanting to be a reflective adult who can analyze and think about things without crippling myself. It takes an incredible amount of emotional energy to be mindful and thoughtful of, okay, I just did this. Why did I do what I did? And to be able to address that, to not only have the self-awareness to ask yourself that question, to be able to honestly and accurately assess and answer that question, and then figure out, am I doing this right now to lead to long-term sustainable happiness? Am I continuing to work at this job to lead to long-term sustainable happiness? Am I eating this food right now to lead to long-term sustainable happiness? If the answer to most of your questions, if the answer is no, then change some shit up.
Yes.
You may feel happy in the moment for that short amount of time. For me, for us, again, this is no prescription. This is what I have found to be successful for myself. But asking myself the question, have the
wherewithal,
wear overalls to ask myself the question and then to try to answer. And sometimes I ask and I don't answer. I don't answer for 1, 2, 3 days, a week, a month, and it'll come to me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not immediate. Good. It's not immediate. It's okay. Ask myself this question. The answer will come when the answer comes. But having the awareness to ask yourself the question of why you're doing what you're doing, what's making you choose those actions. And then if the answer to that is anything other than long-term sustainable happiness, then reevaluate. Reevaluate and do something different, because you deserve to be happy, and I think everybody has the capabilities within themselves to be happy. And I'm not joking.
That's everyone's goal.
I'm not joking. Barring serious, legitimate medical infringement and a mental illness of any kind, you have the ability to be happiness. You have the ability to be happy. You have the ability to create happiness for yourself. And of course, everybody's struggles are different. Your struggle might be that it is incredibly easy for you to gain weight and get fat. Whereas somebody else can eat whatever they want and not get fat. That's fine. But that person who has that physical thing that you can see, like, oh, he eats whatever he wants and doesn't get fat, or she eats whatever she wants and doesn't get fat. She might be doing something that is very hard for you, or very hard for them, that is very easy for you. Everybody has their own struggles. And I, again, barring like a legitimate mental illness, which I know a lot of people struggle with, and that is like a topic that's way beyond me to be able to give any advice. But if you can have the perspective, and you can have the self-awareness, if you can ask yourself the question, you have the ability to answer the question. If you're listening to this, you have the ability to ask yourself and answer for yourself, is what I'm doing leading to long-term sustainable happiness?
Just to touch on a couple of the things you said, one, I think, which I never even thought about this, I think that it's awesome that you're able to ask a question and be okay with not only not answering it, but not knowing the answer for a long period of time. I think a lot of people, if you ask someone, what are you doing to be happy? Or, what, a very deep question, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, I don't know.
I'm going to tell you right now, Blakeston, 90% of the battle is being able to ask yourself that question.
Yeah. Not only that, but being okay with not knowing and figuring it out. It is not something that you're not a failure. If, at least my belief is, you're not a failure if you don't know exactly what it is. Oh, get up in that fridge.
All right, we're going to take a quick little 2-minute pause. I have to step out.
Yep.
We'll step out for about 2 minutes. We'll take these mics with us, and we'll resume here in a minute, because my heart is pounding.
Well, so just to touch on, you were talking before we left the sauna for a little impromptu guy. It wasn't because it was too hot in here, just so you guys know. It had nothing to do with us not being able to handle the heat.
Or my heart pounding, or it being incredibly uncomfortable, and I literally couldn't take it. It had nothing to do with that.
Really, what it came down to is we didn't want to be too well thawed out, if you know what I mean.
We're out here getting cooked. I'm medium rare right now.
I'm out here throwing a little Easter egg at our own podcast that you are now watching right now, so you don't even need the Easter egg. So I'm confused on why I said it. Anyway,
And
so
that's
we're
not
back.
an Easter egg. That's a plug.
So, just to touch on what you were saying, I think I keep getting distracted saying stupid things, and I keep forgetting what I wanted to say. But just to bring it back to happiness and kind of the
And just to
goals there.
distract you
There we
further,
go. We're talking.
This is literally a constant battle of getting distracted because we want to say stupid stuff.
This
is us every day.
Yeah. So finding happiness is a constant, a give and a take. Obviously, like you can't just be happy doing things. Like there's always going to be negative times. There's always going to be times you're sacrificing things. There's always going to be, and you have to weigh out what's worth it to you. You have to weigh out, what will again make you happy in the long run. Obviously, if I only did things that brought me immediate happiness right now, I would play video games nonstop. I would eat very unhealthy, and I would not push myself the way that I do professionally and working out and all of that. And then later, I would be very unhappy with all of the results.
Dealing with all of those consequences.
Exactly. So even last night, for example, Chase asked me to go to the store and get something when I had just gotten home. I had just pulled in the driveway, and he's like, no, don't worry about it. And I was like, I will worry about it. I'm going to go get whatever you need because it's slightly inconvenient, but that's nothing. It really is nothing. It took me 20 minutes and then I was back, and then it brought him a little more happiness having whatever he needed. And no skin off my back. So just being able to understand that sacrificing your time and energy to do things for your friends and for people you care about and for yourself is worth it in the long run.
That's just nothing but you doing things like that as just an investment into friendship, and it's always making those little sacrifices. Because I didn't care, I didn't think about it one way or the other. Even if you didn't, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's already in the driveway. You might as well stay home." But when you live your life like that and you constantly do things for other people, that shit pays off. You're planting seeds of karma. And I'm not religious at all.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling regarding thermodynamics,
that's a big word,
regarding the physical principles of this universe that we live in.
Yep.
That there's a metaphysical thing going on too, and that the shit will even out. The shit will even out. I don't know, and it could be made up. It could be.
Well, I think I interrupted you there, but I think that you couldn't be more right, and it doesn't have to be this like supernatural thing. It doesn't have to be this literal like karma thing, but everything does come around. So it can literally be as simple as you do a nice thing for someone, they will remember that. And even if they never do something nice for you, they will always remember this person did this nice thing. If you do enough of those things, you are just viewed as a nice person doing very nice things. And that can reap its rewards in many ways. A perfect example is the rugby team that Chase and I play for. I just started playing not even 3 years ago, just like 2.5 years ago. And I've done so much for the team because I'm passionate and I care, and I'm playing with my friends and I care about those people, that the team knows, one, they let me pay for free, whereas the other players have to pay every season. They pay me back in that way. The team knows I will do things for them. I will be there for them. It's a certain amount of respect that you don't just get. You earn that, and it is a really awesome thing to walk amongst those men and know that I have put myself out plenty of times and done things for them, and they respect and love and appreciate me for that. And that is something that I can't really put a price on. Chase and I walk up to practice, and it is overwhelmingly this awesome sense. No matter what kind of day I had, I feel instantly just gratitude and appreciation for the people on that team and how they feel about me, and it makes me incomparable to anything that I've felt before. So that's just one example. Chase and them had me start running the company because of the effort that I've put in and the things that I do. All the good things that you do and the times that you put yourself out will come back in different ways. And it could be random, or it could be just someone repaying a favor, but you do enough good things. If all you do is selfish things for yourself, people just know that you're not there for them, and it's not gonna. So that's that immediate happiness thing. Again, that'll come back in different ways.
I think that it may be what we describe right now. I think karma is just the best word. Karma is a word that everybody knows what it means.
Yep.
And I think right now it may seem like a spiritual thing or a supernatural thing or something that we can't describe, but I think that's just like, imagine describing how an airplane works to somebody 500 years ago. I think there is something there, and this is literally hypothesis. I literally have no clue, but I think that once we're able to measure and or define and or observe
energy in a different way. Maybe it's not physical energy in the way that we understand it today. And of course, this is all beyond me. This is literally made up hypothesis, whatever, but it makes sense to me that eventually it won't be supernatural, it won't be metaphysical. It's something that can be observed and described and measured. And then you are literally going to reap what you sow. You're literally going to live the life that you've created yourself because of all the choices that you have made. And we see that, and anecdotally we know that, and we have felt that. But obviously it's not scientific, and I think that might change. I think that there's a legitimate viability that, you know, one day we will know this is what's going on here. And I think there's some ancient shit maybe that has been forgotten. I don't know. I think that karma is a legitimate thing. I think that karma...
and if you, just to touch on that, if you, like, obviously you said, like, that's like airplanes. You can't describe to someone how, like, you think of modern medicine, you know, just however many years ago we were bloodletting. We were cutting people open to get rid of sickness. Obviously that makes them weaker. They die. You know, but we thought at the time that saved their lives. That's with everything. If you erase the fact that we think we know all of these facts about life and you just look at it like anything is possible, then, you know, we really know nothing, and we're just out here all trying to figure it out, and we use what we know, what we've been told by people smarter than us.
Quote unquote, for those of you who can't see, he did air quotes.
I did air quotes.
What we know, quote unquote.
Yeah. And if you just
what we know, quote unquote, changes.
Yeah, exactly. And even every day, what I know about myself, what I know about my interactions with people, what I know about to be fact when it comes to science or anything, you know, changes based off my interactions, based off what I learn, again, quote unquote, learn, and what I have been told. So if you just operate, which is what I try to do, it's easier said than done when times are, you know, rough, or when you're in a situation where you're agitated, whatever, it's easier said than done. But if you always try to operate from a point of understanding that other people might have some value or some good thoughts, and you don't know everything, and you're just learning too, that's the best time for discussion and learning, for sure.
Yeah.
At least for me. Which is why I want to have some educated people on this podcast.
I think there's room for 3. Let's
There
spin
it
it
is.
out. Let's see here. I will literally scoot. We get 2 cameras going. You tell that person there I think it's only going to be 30 minutes. Tell them, hey, if we get one microphone mounted up in this corner, microphone mounted up in that corner, and a microphone mounted in the center, and say, hey, figure it out.
We could
and
do,
we could talk like this and have
yeah.
2 cameras. I think there's enough room for 3.
We could do, it doesn't need to be an hour straight. It can be 30 minutes. And then we chill and recess for 15 and go over whatever talking points or whatnot. So far, this
I think
episode,
we could easily have a third in
yeah,
here.
we can. I told Chase before this session that we can't have 3 people, and that again was my perspective, because I sat in here with Jamie, who is a behemoth of a man.
He is 2 of me.
He is
in length and girth.
Yep, and taste. You know, so it's just a whole thing. It's very with Chase and me though, we're little bodies. We weighed ourselves yesterday, and I weighed 135, and Chase weighed 210. So
I was going to say 137.
those are both untrue statements, but you know, we're out here trying to figure it out. We're going to be posting all of this content and figuring out what the best thing is. So obviously we want feedback from you guys. We got Desi here, who is already within 1 episode. All he's been has been here for this 1 episode. And it's
been a
10
drastic
times.
improvement in quality, a drastic improvement
Everything.
in production quality.
Everything.
Yeah,
I'm more turned on than I was before. It's a whole thing.
He's
so.
nothing but a blessing. But I'm telling you guys, my goal, again, let me set the scene for you, for those of you who are new to what we're doing here.
Yep.
My name is Chase. I'm here with my buddy, business partner, friend, associate, heterosexual life partner,
If you will.
Blakeston. And we are sitting in a 150-degree sauna. I currently have a hoodie on. He's got a t-shirt on. We are here in this well thought out podcast to talk about what we want to talk about. My whole goal, my intentions with this podcast is to think about things in depth, to discuss things in depth, to address topics that otherwise people don't set a time to set time, specific time aside, that otherwise people don't sit down and say, let's have a hard conversation. So we are physically uncomfortable sitting in here.
Yes.
It is 150 degrees.
There he goes.
I literally feel like I'm going to throw up, but I'm just ignoring that. And even talking makes it worse. So whatever, we got 10 minutes left. I'm physically uncomfortable. I want to lean into the emotional and intellectual discomfort of having hard conversations and doing what I can to perpetuate emotional growth and spiritual growth, whatever you want to call it. I want to talk about shit that we otherwise wouldn't talk about. You're not going to take time out of your day when you're working, when you're feeding your kids, you're taking your kids to school, you're walking your dog. You're not going to take time out of your day
to talk about, okay, how do we create long-term sustainable happiness for ourselves as men, as human beings? What do we do for ourselves? So having a very specific physical environment that we can set time aside for ourselves to discuss hard things to hopefully become better human beings. That's my goal.
And just to branch off that, because that reminded me, Desi asked me before this episode, he said, well, because I was like, what should we talk about? Obviously, that's a podcast, all you do is talk. All we do is just talk about things. And Chase and I were asking each other probably 30 to 70 different times this morning, what should we talk about? What should we figure out? And never had a good answer. And Desi asked me what I am wanting out of this, what kind of my goals are. And that's when I kind of realized it's almost exclusively selfish for me. Obviously, I want to put content out there that people enjoy. I want to put stuff out there that people want to interact with. I want to make money off the podcast, of course. But my main goals are, 1, I get to hang out with Chase, which is always fun. 2, I get to sit in the sauna, which is a recovery, good, beneficial thing. 3, not only Chase, I get to hang out with Desi. And then I get to put, there he goes, nice burp. And I get to put content out there, which sees me and Chase in kind of a different light than how we're normally looked at via our social media. We are
no thirst trappery going on here and well thought out. We want to. We are dynamic characters in our life.
I don't want to have a shirt on. I'm doing this for you guys. We
are diversifying the sort of content that we can make, and I think that this is going to be a long-term sustainable thing for us as content creators. And I feel like, aside from the personal growth that we can achieve by having in-depth hard conversations, the only difference here, you guys, is the microphone. Yeah. The microphone and the camera is the only difference. I feel like if we are going through this life, like I described last time, creating a wake of energy behind us, and the sort of vibrations that we create in this world are gonna have consequences. And if we can do what we can to have these hard conversations, if one person benefits from, listen to these two fucking idiots in the sauna talk about these
that's
things,
us. We're fucking idiots.
And listens to us talking about these things, and hopefully is a realization for them, or they learn and they grow with us. Because that's my whole goal, you guys, is to have an open heart and to learn and to grow. Yeah.
And the whole kind of theme of this podcast this episode is happiness, and going on a business adventure with Chase and Desi is awesome.
Happiness.
I have nothing but respect for them. Desi is incredibly smart and has already given us. He's a full-blown idiot. Sorry.
With us. We all do that. It's a defense mechanism, so we can't be held accountable for anything. I've thought about this. Yep. You're just like, I'm so sorry. I'm a freaking idiot. And it's like, nice.
Desi is strongly confirming that
he
notion
is, in
with
fact,
us.
an idiot.
But, it is almost exclusively selfish for me, this kind of content. It is, I get to have deep conversations with this, which is something that I thoroughly enjoy. I was telling Chase a while back, we go on road trips for work often, or just for fun now, really. And Chase and I will be in the truck, and some of my favorite times of my entire life, as cliche as it sounds, is being in the truck for 6, 7, 8, 12, 15 hours in a row with Chase, and just talking about all these things that we normally don't talk about. Usually people go day to day, going through the motions, me included, of
all of us, because it's mentally and emotionally easy to not think and address things. You just keep
in day to day can be draining. It can be hard to
that's what I'm talking about.
Find the time. Yeah,
to have to do it takes an incredible amount of effort.
Yep, and hard to find the time to do so, which is something that I'm gonna have to figure out a balance until this podcast makes us rich. And because obviously I'm working full time, and so is Chase and Desi. They're busy with their lives, so. To be able to set time set time aside so we can focus on having good, just deep talks about anything that we feel we want to.
And for those of you who don't know, this is perfect for me because Desi lives about 45 minutes away and he never comes up here. Now he has a business obligation to come up here. So
now
I get to hang out with one of my BFFs, you fucking bitch.
You fucking loser.
All right, I say we wrap it up there. I say we set out 5 minutes, come back in, and however long it takes us to record an outro and intro, and we'd be done.
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do, you guys. We're going to record an outro and intro. We're going to step out for 5 minutes so we can recover. I'm getting ready to pass out. We're going to come back in, record an outro and intro. That could take 5 minutes. That could take 15 minutes. For the love of God, I hope it takes a short amount of time.
1 minute.
And then I'm going to have Desi start recording on a phone out there so you guys can see us take this little ice plunge. Love you all to death.
Yeah, yeet. We're going to get in these really cold ice baths.
Don't put those in the water.
As as you can tell, I can lay all the way back. Thank you for joining us. The more you move, the more it hurts.
Yep.
You keep jiggling, and it doesn't.
Warm up the water. All right, what do you think? All right, well, we're definitely 100% going to have to change this water out. Don't ask why.
Are you urinating in it? You can't do that. Oh,
No, I'm not.
He's just groaned as if he's pooping or farting or peeing.
No, it's because I'm done urinating in it.
Oh, it's such a weird feeling.
I don't know if I can do ice, you guys. This is simply room temperature water from the hose from outside. And
Well, it's colder than room temperature.
It is 100% room temperature. It's been in this garage for like a week.
Dog, room temperature to me implies like 75 degree.
No, it's the same temperature as the room it's in.
Right, but room temperature is not a standard temperature. It is cold. The garage is outdoor, but like it's cold.
No. Okay, yeah. It's cold. It's not cold as having ice in it.
Yeah, but it's not warm.
Do you want to argue about it?
Yes.
Is this our first fight?
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about stuff so I don't feel
What do you think I'm doing? I ate ATM the moment.
This is not bad.
It is
This is
bad.
not.
He's lying.
It is bad.
He's lying. It's very bad. It hurts a lot.
If we get ice in here, I will probably poopy my panties. If we put ice in this, I will legitimately drown myself in the water so I don't have to deal with this.
You over there? Hey, what's up?
What's up, lady?
Why do I have a bowl cut?
Oh my god, how long do we do this?
I'm
Desi,
done.
what's the timer
I
say
think
on
I'm
there?
done.
2:24 since we started the video.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go until it says like 3 minutes.
God, you're a bitch. Not in like a mean way. I hate.
Just
I
because
don't like
I'm
you.
moving to get cold. Oh my dude, if you move, it's
So,
like painful.
Yeah. What do you think I just accidentally did?
Tell me when we're at 3. We're gotta be at 3. Oh fuck
This
it.
is
Dude, if you
sick.
move,
Fucking hell.
it's fucking pain. It's like painful.
Yeah.
It's painful if you move. And if
I
we
have-
put ice in here, I will poop to make the water
I have a
warmer.
fear boner right now as we're talking.
I'm fear inverted.
I can't even feel anything, let alone.
Desi, there's no way it's not at 3 minutes.
And 3 minutes.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
It's very cold. All right, I got those towels right next to you, right next to you.
Oh, I went the wrong way.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Do a little, say something to the camera, because I can't.
Thank you guys for watching this whole thing. Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hey, hit the comments below for any suggestions, anything you want us to talk about or address. And remember, we are the Village Idiots, so don't take anything we say seriously. Love you.
We have no idea what we're talking about.
Listen, once again, you guys, this has been strictly an opinion. This is an op-ed. You
Yeah.
understand?
And we're well fucking thought out.
And we don't know anything more than you do, but what we do know is that we can share our goddamn opinions. We're grown-ass men, and we're doing what we can to express our opinion.
F yeah.
None of this is a prescription. All of this is anecdotal. All of this is what has worked for us and us trying to sort through this mess that we call life.
And when I said F yeah just now, that's short for fuck yeah.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.